Okay, well, welcome to Shit That Matters, previously Weird Vibes. So we've rebranded.
Yes.
We've grown. We've accelerated as humans.
Yes.
And so,
Accelerated.
yeah. So like we were talking about, we we originally started this to kind of just chat about local restaurants and stuff like that, but we've grown into making connections with great organizations like the one that you guys come from, to kind of highlight some of the things that matter in Central New York. So if you would like to introduce yourself and let us know where you're from and a little bit about your time there, that'd be great.
Me go first?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to know. Lauren Cunningham.
Yeah.
I use she, her pronouns. I work at Vera House. I'm the co-director of our prevention education program. I've been with the organization for 26 years.
She's a legend.
Wow,
I
26
don't know
years
about
is-
a legend.
She's
but
a legend.
Yeah.
a long, long time.
Yeah.
And partner with Kate on our Raise the Bar initiative. So that's a little
Great.
bit about me.
Yes, couldn't do it without Lauren. My name is Kate Purcell. My official title is Community Prevention Project Coordinator, and my main role is to help train bars and restaurants on the Raise the Bar program. I've been with Vera House for a few years now. Started as a volunteer, worked as an advocate, and I have a background in education. So when this,
So then I
yes.
stole her.
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
How
like-
long's
like,
Vera
we'll
House
take
been
Kate.
around?
Vera, oh my gosh, 1977, I think.
Was
well,
there a
so
Vera?
Vera House is actually the result of a mission-driven merger between what was the Rape Crisis Center of Syracuse and Vera House, and so they had different starting dates, but then they came together. And yes, there was Sister Mary Vera, who started Vera House
Yep.
back in
We have her photo.
1977. Yes.
in
my
our
gosh.
lobby.
Yep. Saw that there was a
She's
need.
passed, I imagine.
Yes, she has at this point. But yes, she saw a need that people were being hurt in their homes and not having anywhere to go, and got this going.
Yeah, great. So can you just give, for those that don't know about Vera House, like a little blurb about that, and then also about Raise the Bar?
Yeah, I
if you
don't know anything
mind?
about Raise the Bar.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
You want me to start with the Vera House
You
part?
start with Vera House.
So I can share Vera House's mission is to prevent, respond to, and partner to end domestic and sexual violence and other forms of abuse. So people, I think when they hear Vera House, they often think of shelter and maybe a shelter for women. And that is kind of the origins of the organization, but we have many, many other programs
more.
beyond that. Yeah, so there is the shelter service. It's the only confidential shelter service here in Onondaga County. And that's for people of all genders, adults and adults with kids that need a safe place to stay if they're not safe in their homes as a result of partner violence, sexual violence. People often don't think about abuse in later life also. So serving the older population. I'm looking at you, bud.
Oh my God, I am older. I am definitely older. But elder abuse then?
So elder abuse,
Yes.
yep.
So when a child is maybe
harming an adult,
wow,
yeah,
wow.
a parent. And that's actually, I'm glad that you said that, bud, because a lot of times I think people think, oh, that's what happens in nursing homes, but we know the vast majority
Oh, I
of,
bet
of
it-
elder
yeah.
abuse is committed by family members and people close to the victim. Yeah.
That's true for a lot of different types of abuse, is
Yep.
that it's majority of people that you're close with.
Yes,
Close
yeah.
family
So same
members.
with sexual violence as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
So
not a situation where somebody's in a bar. Well, I imagine there's a percentage of that, but would you say the majority of people are people that the person knows?
yes, statistically, yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to sexual violence,
Yeah.
the majority of people know the person who's
Mm-hmm.
caused harm to them. Yep. Yeah. So then just to finish off, so shelter services, we also have counseling services, an advocacy program. The program Kate and I work with is prevention education, and then lots of other stuff too. We work with people who've caused harm in relationships as well, because we think it's important
wow.
to do that work also.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
I didn't know
that.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, we serve people who have been hurtful to partners in relationships, many of whom are required to attend that service
Right.
based on a court proceeding or child protective, but a good number that come voluntarily looking to improve their relationships.
Oh, that's awesome.
In 26 years, how many people do you think I don't know what term you would use to helped or assisted, whatever, how many people have come through that you've helped in 26 years?
Wow.
Just in
I
Onondaga
mean, are you
County?
really asking me to do math in my head on the
Yes.
spot?
What about-
I can tell you on an annual basis.
Yeah.
So for example, we have a 24-hour crisis and support line, 7 days a week, every day of the year. And I think we get around 5,000 to 6,000 calls on that support line every year.
Wow.
It rings off the hook day in and day out. Kate and I can
Oh my
attest to that.
gosh.
We're both trained support line people. So that's just that one particular service. We serve, over 1,000 people in our advocacy program, hundreds in our counseling program. We also have a program called the Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner Program. So we have nurses that respond 24/7 every day of the year to all the local emergency rooms to do forensic rape exams also. So we serve hundreds of people through that program also.
And this is just Onondaga County?
Just Onondaga County.
So the
yes.
population of Onondaga County is like, what, 400,000 people, 450,000 people?
Something like that.
So
yeah.
you're saying 10% of the people on an annual basis
Well, if
are
you look
making
at,
a call in?
if you're looking at data,
Wow.
if you look at female identified people, about 1 in 4-ish report
Oh
partner
my
violence.
God.
Around that with sexual violence, there's different data that says slightly different things, but, and that male identified people and non-binary people also experience significant rates of partner violence and sexual violence. So.
Wow, so gee, that means every 10 people I encounter,
You
every
know
5
a lot of
people.
people that are directly
Yeah.
affected. But guess what? People don't talk about
No,
it. There's
no.
a lot
Yeah.
of stigma, there's a lot of shame.
And that's just reported
Yeah.
too. That doesn't
Yeah.
that doesn't count the people that don't feel
Wow.
comfortable coming
Yeah.
forward.
We know that, like, when it comes to sexual violence, about 60% of sexual assaults are never reported. So what we're seeing is
why do you think that is? Shame?
fear.
Fear.
Yep. Fear of retaliation, fear of going through the process.
Yeah.
Distrust
in the legal system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All sorts of barriers that people face.
Wow.
Yep.
So I love conversations like this that kind of allow us to openly talk about it and have it not be, it's affected so many people. Like probably everybody knows somebody that's been affected by it. So being
Absolutely.
able to have these conversations where it's not like a taboo thing that people like hide, I think is really productive so that people can move forward, I guess, into preventing it. So part of that prevention is the education services that you guys do, and part of that education services is Raise the Bar.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about Raise the Bar?
Yes, love to.
Okay.
So Raise the Bar is a state-funded initiative. It's actually called Safer Bars, but we have created our own brand for it in Onondaga County. But we are currently approaching year 5 of this grant cycle. And it was a program that was started in Arizona, so in the University of Arizona, funded by the Arizona Department of Health, and it was a research-based program, and it was created in partnership with all of these state-funded organizations, as well as actual bar staff, bartenders, people that actually have their feet on the ground, and kind of getting an idea of what the people that are actually in these establishments are experiencing, what they're seeing, and how they can help create a safe space for themselves and patrons, right? Because everyone wants to be able to go out and have fun and feel safe at the same time, right? So that's a little history of the Raise the Bar program, but we do have a training that is part of that, but that's not the only part of it. So we have a training that we offer to bar staff, any alcohol serving establishment. It's a 2-part training. We talk about what it means to be a bystander, specifically in a nightlife establishment. We talk about what it means to be a bystander versus an active bystander, right? Because we're all bystanders, right? We are all witnessing things all day long. But the difference is being an active bystander is when you feel empowered to step in safely and intervene when you see possible warning signs. And that doesn't necessarily mean like you're jumping in and breaking up a fight or something like
Right.
that. It's just kind of educating staff on really what they already know, but kind of looking at it through a different lens. So, it can look like checking in with someone. Are you okay?
Yeah.
It can look like partnering with other staff and, can you do this while I do this in a safe way? So that's a little bit about the training. We also do some exercises with, activities rather, with staff. We do an environmental scan. So say if we came to your establishment, we would, scan, look for any areas that maybe would need better lighting, maybe bartenders are saying, I can't really see that corner over there. And we can work with establishments to implement changes in a cost-effective way, ideally. We also work on policy with bar and restaurant staff management that can be more like a written policy that staff can all be on the same page with regarding sexual aggression, procedures and policies like who to report it to, what's the order of operations, so everyone can be on the same page and really create that environment of safety. So it really is an ongoing relationship when we partner with a bar. We're always open to anything. The partnership doesn't stop at these, policy environment training. We're really hoping to shift, these social norms that have been put in place, and really shine a light on the nightlife industry and make sure that there are protections for people in that space as well. Make sure that everyone can be safe. So that's a little bit about the Raise the Bar program.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And
that's
how
a
long has it
lot.
been active here in Syracuse?
So it originally started back in 2018, and we kind of did our initial launch and I think we had maybe 6 establishments that got trained in like the first year or so. And then COVID happened.
Oh, geez.
And and so basically we're really at the point of relaunching the
Relaunch.
initiative.
Who were the 6? How did you find them, and who, if you can ask who they were?
So I can speak historically because it was prior to when Kate was involved. Initially, we were funded to only focus on the Armory Square district, so we had a very limited geographic area. Do you want me to list off the establishments?
Sure, that would be great.
So Possibilities, Kitty Hoynes.
Of course.
Wunderbar.
Blue Tusk that
Blue Tusk,
closed.
yes.
Wunderbar.
The Stoop, right?
The Stoop Kitchen,
Stoop,
it's
yeah.
now closed. Yep.
Eric, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you know
reopened
Eric.
now. Eric's a great guy, super nice
Yeah,
guy.
it's Le Mélange now.
The Le
right?
Mélange,
Oh,
yeah.
I hear
Becca
such great
Clayton.
things about that.
It's really
Yeah.
upscale, super good. The York, that be Armory?
No,
They're new.
We're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it originally started down there in Armory Square, and now the Department of Health, our funder, has allowed us to expand to downtown Syracuse at this point. The idea is that this is really about shifting culture in a particular geographic area. So at this point, we're not like, oh, we're going to go anywhere in
You
Onondaga
won't go to
County.
Beeville or Liverpool or...
Not at this point. The hope is that with this idea about culture change is that, and we kind of saw this start to happen when we initially began the program, is that, so say you go into one of these establishments and you engage in a way that is, sexually aggressive, questionable, and the nightlife staff intervene and respond to that. And then you walk next door and you're going to engage in the same behavior and you get the same message.
Oh, makes sense,
And so
yeah.
it's this piece about creating a culture of respect and safety within this geographic community, if you will.
That makes sense. If you've got Armory, then maybe you go to
Like
just
Salina
outside
Street
Salina
and-
Street.
yep, yep.
But to have one place in Liverpool, one place in Beeville,
Right.
one place in Fayetteville doesn't matter.
It doesn't have the same
Yeah.
kind of impact that
It's the
that
same
can
as
have.
IDing, right?
Right.
People are gonna.
Right.
People know where you can. If you're underage,
Yep.
you know where you can go and drink and not be.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, we
yeah,
just
I would,
remembered.
You'll know
yeah.
where
Oh my
you can
gosh.
go and get away with sexual aggressive behavior.
Funk and Waffles is the other wonderful.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Adam's the nicest
such
guy
a
around.
great
Yeah,
guy.
we're actually
yeah.
retraining them this week.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Oh,
and we just
great.
were yesterday. Kate
Yes,
was at Wunderbar.
I did part 1 of the training with Wunderbar yesterday, which is kind of
That's a place I don't know. Who
Oh,
owns
it's
that?
so cool.
Tanner Effinger.
I don't know him. I
Yeah,
don't-
it's right outside of Armory Square.
I know
it's
exactly where it
It's
is,
a queer
yeah.
identified
Yep.
bar. Yeah, it used to be the Red House.
Oh, I know where the Red House is. Yeah.
Used to be, yeah. So the
Used
building
to
that
be,
they
yeah,
used to be in.
before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great,
Yeah, they're like
wonderful community.
so
I have-
on board,
Yeah.
and so
I've heard so many good things.
Yeah.
That I've
It's
just
fun
been
there,
like,
too.
dying to get to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and they do a lot
awesome.
of cool events.
But if there's a way, so we know, I should say, because Michelle, when I work with, I don't know, probably 180 restaurants in 170 in Onondaga County, a bunch in Oswego County, some in
Yeah.
Cortland County. But if there's anybody you say, hey, like I haven't been able to get a hold of this person, let me know.
Oh, we'll
I'd be
talk, bud.
Yeah. definitely. Because what would be the negative? Why would somebody not want to do it?
Yeah, that was going to be my question. So what's not the pushback, but I guess what's your barriers, or what's the program's barriers to moving forward and connecting with all the different places?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes just, I mean, like you said at the beginning of our conversation, people don't talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
So
No.
even just like entertaining, bringing in a program that relates to sexual violence, I think there can be some hesitation around like, oh, well, this like implies something about our
Okay.
our organization, our
Guilt
community.
by association kind of
Right,
thing?
which,
Yeah.
and we really try to frame this as like, this is about, bringing patrons in. We did it when we had our little COVID shutdown, our long COVID shutdown. We did some surveying of patrons. People want to go to places where they feel like the staff has their back and the staff's
Yeah.
going to be looking out for their well-being. It kind of feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But so I think there can be some reluctance around that. The other thing, the training that we offer is free. It is funded by the Department of Health. But so the establishment then would have to pay their staff when they're going through the training. Or we actually have some funding for like some of the smaller establishments that really maybe don't have the funds to pay staff. We do have some funds to support doing like gift card stipends if the staff volunteers to go through the training. So we can also work around that as well.
Yeah.
But other
Sometimes,
than that,
you know,
I don't know, what other barriers might there be?
Well, you know, it's weird sometimes, believe it or not, when you offer something for free or it's $5, sometimes people feel like by paying $5, they're more engaged in it. When you offer something for free, people think, it's free. When they have some accountability to, I spent $5 on this, I better
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
right? So the free sometimes gets in the way.
Yeah.
I got a weird question. I didn't mean to interrupt Michelle, but I've worked in restaurants my whole life since I was a kid when my mom managed a bar restaurant in my hometown. And there's I don't want to say a culture, I don't want to stigmatize the whole restaurant industry, but there's a back and forth with staff in a restaurant where maybe a dirty joke or a slap or a inappropriate behavior between staff is kind of the way it's always been. It's the way it's always been. Yeah, you tell a dirty joke in the kitchen and the waitress or server laughs and the cook tells it, or sometimes the waitress or server tells it. How do you see more challenges with staff or with patrons?
I don't know if I can totally answer that. We also, as an organization, do workplace sexual harassment training, which it actually dovetails really nicely with the
Yeah.
Raise the Bar
Yeah.
program. I mean, I think that is definitely something that we've heard about, like, the normalization of that kind of banter in the culture. And I think the reality for us is we're not looking to say like, no, you can't be doing any of that. What we really want to be focusing in on is patron safety and support.
Well, wouldn't that
And so-
channel over? If I'm the
Right.
bartender and you just came in and trained me
Absolutely.
of how to interact and see what's going on with patron behavior,
Right.
I would assume if I'm listening to it and want to have a change, I'm going to change my own behavior with the staff that I'm working
Yeah.
with.
Right, and that so then if I get trained to be a bystander in regard to patrons, maybe I'll be more of a bystander when it comes to
Yeah.
my colleagues as well, and so I think
Yeah.
that's a benefit too.
What, do you have a sexual harassment policy within your staff?
We do, yeah. They
Is
have
it
to
just
do
a piece of paper or is it something that's focused?
It's in the handbook, and then they have to go through sexual harassment training. And then we have covered it before in like our meetings and stuff, but I would say that there's probably a lot of room to improve.
There's a place in Cortland called
Yeah.
Bricks Probria, Robbie Petrella owns.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the coolest guys out there. He's all inked up. He's vegan. He's into rock music. He just, one time a couple years ago and knowing him, he just like, hey, bud, I'm sorry I can't make Wednesday. Me and my girlfriend are going to Africa and we're going to live in the forest for 5 days with a backpack.
I'm
But
obsessed
No
with the
big
fact that you think that that's cool.
That is so cool.
You're like, he's the coolest guy. He's
I immediately
a vegan.
start
and I'm
thinking,
like,
No, but if that's your life and that's what
Yeah.
you want to do, you're
I
not
immediately
tied
go
down.
to spiders and snakes. What do you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
No, but he's not tied down to
Yeah.
the structure of something.
Yeah.
But he's a huge advocate of making things better. And when I say zero, he has a fucking 0 policy on anything sexual harassment in the workplace. There's no dirty jokes. There's this every week at their meeting they bring it up. He has a super educated thing that everybody has to sign off for, and he does not allow it.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
huge
And I think
for
that's,
him.
that's, I love to hear that story because so much about this work is about how do we really get leaders in the nightlife
Yeah. Yep.
space involved, because those are the people that have influence and have influence over the
I was-
staff and the cultures in their
Yeah.
establishments.
I was gonna say, I wonder if, because I'm an owner and I feel like I'm here a decent amount, but my bartenders and my servers are the people who are on the front lines. So I think they're more in tuned to like what the need is and what the culture is. So I'm wondering if staff, maybe if there's like a different alignment between what owners feel like is necessary and that the staffs are like, no, wait a minute, like we can approve here. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's funny you say that because in the trainings that we've done, over and over again, we hear staff like, oh yeah, we're seeing this stuff all the time. It's not like it's not happening right in front of them, day in and day
Yeah.
out. And but that I
Wow.
think sometimes owners and managers don't have a sense of how much that's going on.
I-
And by no fault of their own, it's just that
Yeah.
they're not in there in the moment all the time.
I definitely, because I did catch myself being like, when you asked about my policy, saying, oh, well, you know, we're more of a restaurant, like we don't have really encountered that stuff, but that's not true. I mean, I don't know. I'm not there at behind the bar for 7 hours a night like my bartenders are and what they're
Yeah.
seeing. So it's important for me to be like, kind of take a back seat and be like to my team, what are you actually seeing? Like, where is the actual need? Because it
Yeah.
does happen everywhere.
And I think if we go back to that statistic that the vast
you read
majority
my
of
mind.
harm.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it then,
No,
Kate?
no,
I
you
talked.
do it. Do it.
The vast majority of harm is committed by people known to one another.
Yeah.
And so I think people think like, oh, there's, couples in here and people on dates and stuff like that. Well, guess what? That there's greater risk than there. They know
Yeah.
each other.
Oh my
like
gosh, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the reality.
Yeah.
Not when they're walking. I mean, not that stranger assaults don't happen. We know that they do. But
Yeah.
the risk is higher when you're with someone you know.
Yeah.
Wow, so this is the thought. So you go to Kitty Hoynes. David's the most amazing guy in
Yep.
the world to do anything for anybody, and he's got a staff of say 40 people. From what you just told me, you're sitting down with 40 people, and you're going to the restaurant, educating on site. You're not holding a big thing, and
Nope.
when you're there
we'll,
on site,
we'll actually do whatever you want. We'll come to you, or if you want to come to us, whatever. But yeah, mostly
so
it's on
there's
site.
40 people there. If you're telling me 1 out of 5, that means 8 of those people have had some sexual harassment, sexual assault, some in some way they've
Some
had some
direct connection.
direct connection. 8
Yeah.
of those 40 people maybe never said nothing to anybody. Maybe so. There's probably more.
Yeah.
So now you're having a conversation, and while you're educating them, they're in the back of their head, they're going over what might have happened and
Well,
their own personal experience. Wow.
Or I almost feel like if
Wow.
personal experience, but is one thing that they're probably living or thinking about, but work experience, professional experience as well, that if you give like examples of a situation where you could be an active bystander, if there's a couple at the bar, that staff is able to be like, oh, I've seen this before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I've seen a couple talk to each other like this, or the way that it's played out.
Yeah. Yep.
So I feel like it's just because it's almost one of those things that you don't talk about. It's one of the things that people kind of just, and then once you start to learn more about it, you're like, oh my God, like I can
Do
see
the-
these signs. Like
Yeah.
I've seen this before.
It's
Like,
already there in your mind, but you're just
Yeah.
not really aware of
What's
it
the
until
Bruce
we have
Willis
the
movie
conversation.
where he's like, I see dead people. What's it called?
Oh.
I don't
Oh.
remember.
What's it called?
oh my
Donna?
God,
Oh my
Sixth
gosh.
Sense.
Sixth
Yeah.
Sense. So it's a sixth sense moment when you're educating
it.
somebody.
Yeah.
They go
Good.
back in their head and go, oh my gosh,
Yep,
last
I've
Friday
seen
night.
that.
Oh my God, 2 weeks ago on Thursday, I saw that. Oh, I saw somebody in the kitchen. Oh my gosh, they probably go back
Yep.
in their head and do the sixth sense thing.
Yeah, and also like, oh yeah, that didn't sit right with me. Like that
Yeah.
gave me a gut feeling. That gut feeling
Yeah.
was maybe right.
And then the next step is, but I didn't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
And so we're coming in with here are some options. And we're surely not going to have answers for every little thing that pops up, but here are some more tools in your toolbox on how to potentially navigate through something like that. And the other thing that's really cool about this training is that the skills that you learn as a bystander are transferable to all other sorts of situations that nightlife staff are dealing with all the time. You know, racism, other forms of harassment, escalation of potential violence, things like that, you can use these
Thanksgiving
skills.
dinner with the family.
Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
clearly.
There you go.
Clearly.
Very,
Been
very
to my house.
stressful.
Everyone's winning.
Yes, yes. Do you get any feedback? Do you think that, I know I've talked to some owners back in the day, this is prior to this life, and when bars were more like a shot and a beer kind of bar thing, where you talk about IDing, and they're like, well, I know they're coming in their minors, they're not causing any problems, really, but I need that business. Do you have any owners that say, geez, if I start pushing these people to stop that couple that come in every Friday night and have a couple beers, yeah, maybe they fight, but he's really not hitting there, and I don't want to lose that $100 a week. Do you see a financial piece to people being a deterrent?
So I hear what we have not had any establishment owners or
Nice.
managers say that, but I think we got to be realistic. That's probably in
Oh,
the
yeah,
back
I
of
would
people's
think.
minds.
So, but I'm sorry, I don't
No,
need
go.
to, but I'll counter you because I don't want to throw, but there are a couple places that I know of that I won't go anymore.
Because of that.
Because I feel like they're
Right.
unsafe.
That's the other side of that
Yep.
coin.
But let's say that this owner that doesn't want to lose money from this couple, but they take the steps and they start to be proactive, I'll go there
Yeah,
now.
I see
They'll
what
get
you're
my
saying.
money. They'll get one
It's
out
a
of
catch.
four
The guy
people
that
who
comes
have
in,
been assaulted to feel safe.
the guy that you overserve is sloppy drunk at the end of the bar, but he's a regular, and you overserve him knowing, he's going to be okay, I'll get him a cab, whatever. But I don't want to cut him off because then he's going to belligerent. Or maybe if you cut that guy off, maybe the 4 people that were into the bar for the first time, maybe they come back again.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't see that. And again, like you said before, you're the owner. You're not here behind the bar like
Yeah.
Melissa or anybody else is
Yeah.
for 7 hours a night and seeing that.
Yeah. Can I share a little story?
Yes,
Sure.
oh please, I
Anecdote?
love.
It's from Possibilities. So
Karen's an amazing
yep,
owner
and
as well.
Ryland, you know Ryland?
Your daughter,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
amazing,
yeah.
yes.
So
It's Ryland and what's her other daughter?
oh gosh, you're gonna put me
I
on the
know,
spot
I'm
like
sorry.
that.
Is it
I'm
another
terrible with
R?
names.
It is another.
another
R.
R,
I
yeah.
went through-
Rachel.
Yes.
Rachel, yes,
Yes.
Rachel and Ryland, yes.
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the
the
spot.
name part
but
of
I'm
my
like,
brain
where is
is
it?
gone.
yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
But so they were one of the very first establishments to sign on in that first round, and they shared with us that they had an experience where a woman who traveled a lot for work, came into Possibilities, is going places and sitting at the bar, having dinner by herself all the time. And when she was there was a man that came over and, started talking to her, wasn't catching the vibe that she wasn't interested, kept persisting, and eventually the staff intervened and said, you gotta,
Oh,
you gotta,
wow.
you gotta back off. This person's clearly not interested. So did that, and that woman ended up traveling back through Syracuse, again coming back to Possibilities, and not the same guy, but same thing happens again.
Oh, my Lord.
And she ended up sharing with the nightlife staff, the bartending staff there, that she travels all the time. She's always in these positions. There are people always coming up to her and bothering her. She just wants to sit and eat her dinner. And this was the first time that anyone had ever stepped in and
Oh
done
my
anything about
gosh.
it. And that made her feel like, oh, this is a place that I want
Yeah.
to come back to now
Yeah.
because
awesome.
Wow.
I can come here and feel like I can come and enjoy myself and be comfortable.
Yep,
Have
and it
dinner
only
by
takes
myself.
that one time to make you a regular and a
Yep.
belief in
Yeah.
that, and that you'll never change. I guarantee you, that person, whenever she comes to Syracuse, she's actively going to Possibilities.
Yeah,
So that's a
yeah.
great way, another way to think about it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Positive changes.
Yeah. Well, when you
People
said
are-
Armory
I think-
Square, I knew it was going to be Karen and David, number 1 and 2, for sure, right? You knew
Yeah.
that would be them, yeah.
I think that they
And probably not so much, I shouldn't say it.
don't
Oh,
say it.
here we go.
Don't say
You know what
it.
I'm going to
We're-
say.
I know, just don't. Just-
Okay, you could say it after.
We tell you after.
sir.
But we all know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No, I think I love the idea of all of the neighboring bars being like the target to shift that culture, because I do feel like when, at least personal for me, but I feel like this is probably pretty popular, that it seems like such a big cultural shift that we have to tackle. That there's such, like, in every single aspect, of course, there's
Yeah.
these threats and wherever, but the bar culture. So to be able to kind of focus on an area so that, Armory Square is not tolerant of this, that it just makes it's so much easier for people to feel safe if they know that these establishments have their back instead of an aggressor's back.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I really do like that. I didn't know that. That's so cool. That makes me
That's it.
gives
It
me
makes, I've learned a lot. That makes complete sense. You got to build here, to build here, to build here, to build
Right.
here. Doesn't make sense to
To
do
have
this.
one here and one
No,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really about
And,
concentrating.
and especially in Armory Square, they've had some, the last year or so, there's been
I
some
was gonna
crime and
say,
stuff
yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
I know I was part of a sangria crawl that was organized by Kyle
You
from
got to go to
Kasai.
that?
I did the sangria crawl. It was very, my wife.
Salt City Bar didn't they win the sangria?
Did Salt City? I don't
contest?
think Salt City Bar was
On it on the crawl?
I didn't hit them.
They,
I had
they
a
won
lot
like
of
some
sangria.
award for their sangria.
I had
have
a
a good
lot of
sangria.
sangrias, and we ended up at the rooftop bar over by Jefferson Street.
Okay.
And it
rail
was
line, right?
rail line,
Okay.
and it was a great event. But the problem was they probably had 50% of the people that were going to come because the previous night of the sangria call, somebody got stabbed out between like right on the corner. I don't want to mention the name of the bar, but right out there. And it was
Right,
at no
right.
bar's fault,
Yep.
but somebody got stabbed. And so people are, all you need to do is see a stabbing once, and then my wife isn't going
yeah.
to want me to go down there, and people aren't going to want to go.
Yep.
So-
Well, and there was the shooting
Shooting.
right there on Clinton Street,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So it's that's.
And I
that's
think that's
challenging.
also part of that's something that we've heard as coming through COVID and with places reopening, feelings about people being reluctant to go downtown
Yep.
related to
Yeah.
safety. So we hope that Raise the Bar can really help to kind of support people feeling comfortable coming downtown
Yeah.
and patronizing those.
But there's,
restaurants.
John Page at Three Lives would jump all over this. He's a great guy. I'm surprised you haven't talked to him. Have you talked to
we
Three
had
Lives?
we had one meeting with him. You know him?
I know John really well. Yes, yes.
He opened his new place today.
He opened a new place
really?
today.
Where?
Yes.
Yeah. It's called Pork and Knife, and it's in what used to be Daybird. Did they close Daybird?
Daybird. It was where Daybird was.
Where
yeah.
Daybird was. So it's on Clinton Street. It's
It's a primarily Uber Eats, DoorDash type of place.
I had no idea.
it's
does
at
a
the
lot to
base
go.
of like this big. So the only reason that I know is that AT&T used to be in it because my mom used to work there.
Okay.
So, but it's like it's Fayette and I think it's Clinton. I don't know, but it looks cool.
Right down there.
Yeah, right down there. But it's a breakfast lunch spot. I think it's in a office building.
I think I know where you're
You're
talking
seeing
about.
it in your mind
I think
right
so.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll
Town.
definitely
Right?
introduce
Is
you
it
to
right
John.
across from Clinton Street Pub? That right there?
like kitty corner.
Kitty corner,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. 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 Yeah.
And John's a great guy. I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
But we'll talk afterwards. Anybody you want to meet. I was
Bud,
thinking.
we are going to get your number.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Be careful because he texts me like
I'm a big-
every day, multiple times.
I'm a
follows
huge-
up.
You can text,
Texter.
you
Yeah.
can text Kate all the time.
I'm a huge texter. So.
Yeah.
But I was originally I was like, let's do what we did before. Get 15 restaurants in one room. You guys come. We'll have some restaurant host the event, and you guys educate. We could easily do something like that.
That would be
Easily.
Even if it's not just Armory
Yeah.
Square, maybe it spreads, but there'd be people. I can think of people off the top of my head that would love to do something like
Well, yeah. Now I'm like my scheming is going on, so I'm opening a new location on Tip Hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so
that. It'll be okay.
yeah.
I've been telling everybody about it. They're like, "Are you working at Emerald or something?" I'm like,
I
"No."
was going to say, do your nails have anything to do with the name? Is there
So
like a tie there?
Oh, wow, I didn't
everybody
notice.
is asking me that, but I got these. So I have a marketing coordinator. Shout out to Sasha. She's the best.
She is great.
She's
She's awesome.
amazing.
She's awesome.
Oh, I know Sasha. I used to work with Sasha.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah,
I
she's
think so. At
yeah.
the Sherwood. Or no, where did I work with her? At the yoga studio. I worked at a yoga studio and she did. Does she
Oh.
have 2 kiddos?
Yes.
Yes.
Sasha. Her last name is Menkes.
Yes, she had a different last name when
Yes.
I
yes.
worked with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
But she is type A, just like me, and tells me what I need to do. So she told me that I have to get Christmas nails because we were doing drink videos. So these are my Christmas
They're
nails.
very.
They're kind of fabulous.
Thank
I
you.
noticed.
I've been.
Wow.
You didn't notice them. I've been so
my gosh.
distracted
They're
by
I'm
them.
so
sorry.
nice.
No,
yeah.
I love them.
And I am.
But then I knew there was the emerald. I'm like, oh, maybe that's like a.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll do some. But I don't do sparkles, so it's a lot for me. But everybody's like, I love your nails. So I'm like, maybe I do sparkles. But
Now you're doing sparkles.
yeah. So it's a cocktail bar. So and we're working really hard to provide a safe area for people because of everything that's going on in Armory Square, a lot of people are moving to Tip Hill. So I want to make sure that Tip Hill is a safe environment that people have shifted to. So I'm like scheming in my brain. I'm like, all these Tip Hill owners that we know, like we could do this
Yeah.
together, and it would be really great. And I think that,
Well, even just so one of the things during prior to COVID, I was able to do, or we were as a group were able to do is, COVID hit. A lot of these independent restaurant owners, their identity is the restaurant, right? So David Hoyne is Kitty Hoynes. So if Kitty Hoynes closes, who's David Hoyne, right? Shifty's is Ron, Schultz and Sheena Schultz, and so Shifty's closes, who is Ron, right? So I was very worried about my friends
Right.
having some, personal anxiety and their personal well health. So I started putting text strings together, and we put a bunch of independent restaurant owners, and some of them maybe knew each other, but some didn't. Like, Dan Palladino at Heritage Hills is an awesome guy, but he didn't know Michelle. And Michelle didn't know David Hoyne, and David Hoyne didn't know this person. So we put these text strings together, and people were able to, when shit hit the fan and it was really bad,
Yeah.
not
they could
feel
just
alone.
send a text out and say,
That's
hey, man,
so
I just had a
cool.
crappy night. Anybody else? And people were there for each other. But we built one with all women owners in Syracuse.
That's awesome.
So-
It's so funny. In the first kind of go round of Raise the Bar, part of the work that we also did, and we will build up to this again, but we're just not there yet, was that we had a Raise the Bar work group that was made up of owners and managers of establishments to really drive this initiative because, well, I haven't really worked much in nightlife. Kate fortunately has, but like we want this initiative to
Yeah.
be owned and driven by the people doing the work. But it was interesting what came out of that was that a lot of them were like, it's so great to connect with other
They
people
didn't
that
know
do
each
this
other.
work. And so wait, how are you doing IDs? And this is how we're doing it. And there's this
Yeah.
new system.
Yeah.
And like just the collaboration that came out of that, aside from this work was really wonderful. I
Yeah.
think a
Well,
similar
it's cool.
experience.
Like one of the things that happened, again, it was tough that when you think back on it, it seems like it was 10 years ago. But it wasn't. It was 18 months ago,
Yeah.
We were in the
Seemed
middle of
like
it.
a lifetime.
So Marty Richardson, who's a super nice person, owns Nest
Did
Coast
that
2 and
happen?
Chelsea's and Rise and Grind. She's on this text string at the time, and she had a tough day, and her dishwasher broke. And she put a text up and said, hey, does anybody know anybody but Duffy's? Because Duffy's sucks at communicating. No offense to Duffy's, but
They were probably overloaded.
they were overloaded, and,
Yeah.
and she couldn't get anybody. And she goes, here's a piece of my dish machine that's broke. I don't know what to do. Does anybody have any help? And people made up suggestions. And then Chris Sesta, that owns the In-Between, is another one of the nicest guys out there. Chris puts a text back and says, hey, I have the same dish machine. I have an extra piece. I'll be over to your restaurant in 20 minutes, and I'll fix it for you for free.
Yeah.
That is not happening in
community.
any other industry.
That's what we call community care.
And
And that's what Raise the Bar is all
Yeah.
about.
You
Love
want that.
that. Because then people are talking about what dish machine they need or who supplies their linen, but maybe we can get to a point where we're talking about situations that happen in the bar that are unsafe and saying how did you handle this? How would you handle it? Like, how can we get better? Because right now it does kind of feel like something that people don't talk about it, and they don't want that negative
Yeah.
stigma, but it is happening everywhere at almost every single establishment. So to be able to openly talk about
And
that.
have 20 people you're not alone because there's
Yeah.
10 other people on there that had
Right.
the same thing happen.
Yeah.
And that I think it's funny. I think of Adam at Funkin' Waffles. Like
He's such a good guy.
He's such and he's just so real about like. I think he uses the word. He's like, there's creeps everywhere,
yeah,
and like,
that's-
and like, he's like, and I don't want that in my bar. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
That like, the being honest about it. I think obviously with a topic like this, there can be some of that like fear about stigma.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is the more shame, the more secrecy and silence there is, the more it festers.
Yeah.
That this is the type of topic where like the more you bring it out to light, the more we can work to shift and change things.
Michelle had a good point when we met with John Tomino, and I'm feeling the same vibe with you guys as well. So you've been doing it all this time. I don't want to turn the conversation to a low point, but have you ever lost anybody that you've worked with?
There is one establishment that we did session 1 and they did not come back for session 2.
No, I mean, individual.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Edit that
wow.
out.
We gotta
Yeah.
No, we gotta know
no.
who that is. We gotta know who that is.
Yeah. No.
I'm talking on an individual level, like somebody coming in and needing assistance, and then you find out that they had harm come and maybe they passed. You couldn't get them help. You have a woman who comes in
Through the
she's-
Vera House?
Through the Vera House,
Oh,
not through the
yeah.
bar.
We're probably not supposed to.
No, no, I don't want to, but how do you deal with that?
I'm
How
not
do you-
sure I'm following.
Do you mean
I'm
like
So-
how do we
so-
personally deal
Yes.
with
Yes.
like
So
Oh my
the
gosh, yes.
trauma from
Yes.
that?
Translate.
So what we're talking about is, so for us, what we do is a little bit lighter, I would say, than what you guys deal with. So you guys are in the thick of it, working with these really serious issues that people, suffer from. So like, how do you continue to push through to do this work?
Was that really your
Well,
question?
yeah, well,
Yeah.
she asked John is, how do you not just feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, like
There's-
angry.
Right now, as
You want
we
to speak to that?
Yeah.
we sat here for 45 minutes, and in 45 minutes, how many people have been assaulted?
Yeah.
How do you not just feel overwhelmed? Like, I can't help everybody.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I can't do it, and just put your head on your pillow at night and just go, it's too much, because
Yeah.
you're living it every day. But you guys are pretty friendly people. To be
Yeah.
honest, I expected some hardcore, like, scary people. But
Scary if we need to be.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I don't want to see that side. So
Only
how
at
do you
home.
handle
I'll do
that?
it. I'll do it. I'll
Okay.
be scary.
Okay, you are
So-
pretty scary.
I think the reality is there are those moments. There are those moments of overwhelm and where we, feel it. We feel other people's pain and sadness, but luckily we have an environment in our workspace which really focuses on self-care and community and processing these things. And luckily we have a lot of support in that. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's real. And I think one thing that, on a personal note, one thing that drives me is I am a survivor as well.
That was my next
Yes,
question.
I am a
Yeah.
survivor as well, and I have found my voice in that, and speaking to it and helping other people in this process really is part of my healing as well. So while at times it can get hard, and we're not immune to that, I think that's really what drives me, and I think a lot of other
But
people.
how do you not want to just take everybody that needs something home and say, I'm going to put you in my garage and you're going to
My
be
house
safe?
isn't that big.
But don't you just feel like, how can you not help enough people?
So our work is grounded in values around self-determination and empowerment. And so we do not
yeah.
come at this work from a savioristic perspective.
Gotcha.
We come from it as a, how do I partner with you so that you can develop the personal
Ah,
power
that's a good
to do what you
philosophy,
need to
yeah.
do.
And bring that
Because we're not
into
gonna be
other
here to care for
spaces.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
That kind of answers like John. John had an answer
Yeah.
of one more person, one more day.
Yep.
Puts his head on his pillow and he goes, you know what? I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to help one more person
Yeah.
tomorrow.
You just
one
do
more
your
day.
best.
One more
Yeah.
person, one more day.
And I think when people think about the work that Vera House does, or on a project like Raise the Bar, they think of the harder, darker side of that. Being at Vera House 26 years, I can't tell you the times of incredible hope and healing and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you focus
that
on, yeah.
people's lives being literally transformed and the breaking the cycle to create different lives for their children and their
Yeah.
families. I mean, that's actually what I hold on to
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
of.
The
There are
magic
there are
that
these
comes
things that
from
are
that.
hard and scary, and there are also, we do what we call mission stories during all of our staff meetings. And like literally, there's just mission story after mission story of like, this person was able to save up enough money and be able to get safe, them and their kids, and get an apartment independently.
Oh, that's cool. That's what drives you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How many people? How many staff?
And can I add just one
Oh,
more thing
sorry.
to that? And when we talk about that communal care piece, it's not just us at Vera House. We're to have a community that wants to be on board with supporting this work and creating safety and shifting these norms is really wonderful.
So when
What's
I
the
went
staff? I'm sorry. How many people on staff in your house?
Gosh, we maybe have 50 full-time staff, but then because we run 24-hour services, then we have a whole bunch of
But
probably
I like
another
what you
40
said.
part-time staff.
So you have 50 staff, but then you go into Kitty Hoynes and educate 40 people. You kind of have 40 more staff, right?
Right, it's engaging
You come
people
here and
to
educate
do the
35
work.
more
Yep.
people. Now you have 35
Yeah.
more staff
Yep.
Yeah.
that are making changes.
And then I do the math beyond that. So it's not just what you learn through this training that you implement in your workplace. Now you're maybe going to go home and have different conversations with your kids
Yes.
or your partner
Yeah.
or other people in your
Yeah.
life. So the ripple effects of that
Yeah.
are.
So I went through the support line training.
Yep.
And I think that there was like 30 people in my 20 to 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
So how many volunteers do you have? Do you know?
I don't know the answer
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
It's
I
definitely.
can imagine it's a lot.
Definitely. At COVID, I mean, COVID kind of like decimated our volunteer pool. People just
That's
didn't
when I
have
started volunteering.
have-
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Kate's like the weird one.
I was like, sign me up.
People
Yeah.
just didn't have the time or the emotional energy to
Yeah.
be doing this really difficult. So we're in a
Yeah.
place of really having to rebuild our volunteer pool.
I do think when I was, that you mentioned the emotional space to do it, I did really love the training because it was a lot of heavy work, but there was always points where you and the team checked in and like made sure to check in with yourself and about the material and all of that. And I think that goes back to the empowerment where you're empowering other people to do the work and not trying to save everyone, which was really cool. I really liked it.
That's a great way to
yeah.
live.
Yep.
Yeah.
To be honest, I try to be a good person, but hopefully you can change in somebody else's life.
Yeah.
We do the Breakfast Club thing. Have you seen that?
No.
So last November, I saw on Facebook that there was some place.
yes, I do know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's him.
I created
That's
that.
you?
Yes. So we've given out. Cool. We've given out over $20,000 already.
That's
in
awesome.
10.
Do you
we've
know
been to
about the
10
I
breakfast?
don't know about the
Tell
rest.
Kate about it.
So I saw somebody else doing it out west, and their idea was they got a bunch of buddies together. They all went to this breakfast spot. Everybody brings a $100 bill. They eat breakfast. They don't tell anybody.
That's
and then
you?
That's
I
me.
do
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, I have. It's not just me. I have Anthony and
Right, but-
Brian,
Yeah,
and
Anthony
people that
from-
help
from
Eat
Eat
Local.
Local, yeah.
Oh my
I do
gosh.
that.
Yeah.
But we've done 10 of them now, and I'm telling you,
I love that.
It's a cool way because here's the other problem, and I've said this before: is it's really easy today with technology. You want to donate to a cause. Click a button,
Totally.
$50 goes. Click a button, $20 goes.
Yep.
You don't really see anything. So we're all. I mean, Michelle's the dirty 30. She just turned 30, but
She's a baby.
she's just a baby.
I don't feel like it. I feel like there's no amount of coffee that will make me feel awake again ever, but that's fine.
But most of my friends or people I hang out with, I got $100. You got $100. You live in Manlius. My God, you got $100.
I don't live in Manlius
Okay,
anymore.
do it.
Do it.
But oh my gosh.
Judgment.
I know. He
She's
always
a private
goes-
school.
Yeah, I knew
She's a
that was
private school
coming. I'm a
girl.
private school girl. There
But
comes
you got
the shade.
$100
Yeah.
to go, and you go to breakfast, and we've built kind of a bunch of people that really didn't know each other before, but now get excited about going once a month. We never tell the staff. We always tell the manager, and then we eat breakfast, and then we bring all the staff in. Like usually it's
I
the
love that
servers,
so much.
and then they always, I bet 90% of the time they think, oh shit, we did something wrong.
Yeah,
we get
we're in
yelled at.
trouble, yep.
And then we sit there and we go, hey, we're the Breakfast Club of Syracuse, blah, blah, blah. We have, here's, at the last one we did was at Adam Weissman's place in Skaneateles Clovers, and we had over $2,000 for them. And handed it out. And they
Tears.
start crying. But you know what's weird? You turn around, and most of these people are my friends. I've seen my friends cry given the money.
Yep.
Because it's firsthand. You're not clicking a button.
Yeah.
It's just as emotional for the people that gave the $100 as the people that received it.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
We have over 800 members on there, but it's a way to give back. But hopefully what, like you said, is I started this, it isn't a for-profit thing. Maybe there's a guy that comes to our breakfast club. Now he goes without breakfast club to his local diner on a Saturday where he wasn't gonna go, and maybe he leaves an extra $20.
Yeah.
So maybe you educated and people are paying it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You have some of your questions. I have a couple questions. You want me to ask mine first or yours?
No, I want to ask mine first.
Okay, okay. Ladies first.
No, because you always are gonna call me out for what I
Okay,
don't
yes,
know.
yes.
So favorite places in Syracuse to go out to eat?
Oh gosh, that's so hard.
So,
Central New York, wherever.
Yeah.
Where's your it's a Friday night and you're going out for dinner and drinks?
so I will say that I did have my birthday dinner here.
Oh, nice.
So that was amazing.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
So you've been here, but
I've been here. I live
I
pretty
have
close.
not because I live
Not
so
yet.
far away. Not yet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me think. I love Amano is really
Oh my
good.
gosh, dude. That's my wife's favorite restaurant.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna call out my partner Pat because we've been dying to go to Amano because I've never been there, and he went
haven't?
this week without me.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I know. I'm mad at him. So yeah, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, super good. It's fancy. Let me think. Casual. Come on, Lauren, you go.
I
Okay.
didn't know if it was my
No,
turn.
I'm
yet.
Okay, yeah.
You go. You
Well,
go.
I'm possibilities.
Oh,
Yes, oh
yeah.
my gosh,
The
they're
vodka
amazing.
sauce there, like
Yeah.
I just,
It's
I'm gonna
amazing.
take a bath in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Pizza Regionale.
Oh my
I
gosh.
had
Paul might be one of the
yeah.
nicest
I
guys
had
out there as well. Oh
the
my
world's
gosh.
best salad that I've ever had.
Is it the antipasto?
my
Their
gosh.
antipasto?
No,
Oh.
it was a special. It's
Oh,
called-
okay. Because I've heard.
He's the nicest guy. That's the only place that John Tomino will take people he's brought off the streets that maybe have some addiction or
Yep.
demons, and once he gets them clean, it's the only kitchen in Syracuse he knows that he can place somebody
Yep.
and know that they're not going to have some demons around them. Because once you get in the back door of a kitchen, usually some people back there have some challenges. They might be drinking too much or doing drugs or whatever, and that happens everywhere.
Not just in kitchens.
Not just in kitchens, true, but
Right.
Paul has a pretty cool place, and John's placed some guys there. That's a good place too.
Yeah.
I thought you might, because you live in DeWitt, you might say Dark Horse, or you ever been to the Dark Horse
I've
Tavern?
been to the Dark Horse.
haven't been there in a
Yeah, that's
while.
good.
Yeah.
Hidden gem, kinda. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm like old school at Lemongrass.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty pound. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yep. Do you want to talk about drinks? What about drinks?
Where do you
Yeah.
go for drinks?
Oh,
Where do you
wait,
go-
I know.
Where do you go to get?
Salt City Bar.
Her
Okay.
face.
Oh my gosh.
Steven
We
Steven
love
behind the
Salt
bar at
City.
Salt City Bar.
That's one of
Okay.
our partners as well.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I don't know
Partner.
them. Oh my gosh.
Salt
In-
City
in the
Bar?
Salt City
In the
Market?
It's in the market. I've only been to the market
Oh
once.
my gosh.
Oh my
Bud,
gosh,
We're meeting
Bud.
up there next.
I
Deal.
know. Yeah.
I felt
Get
like
it
an
together.
ass too, because I went there with Michael Sullivan, who just built he's some kind of in politics, and he's an alderman or a councilman. I think he's a councilman, and he built the new food truck park. It just opened
It just opened too.
last weekend. And we
Yeah.
didn't go.
Where is it?
It's over by where U-Haul is, over by where Mellow Velo used to be.
Oh,
over
yeah,
there.
yeah.
He just built
Oh, I
that
love
out.
Mellow Velo too.
So I went to go talk to him about it, and I go,
know.
where do you want to meet for lunch? He goes, Salt City Market. I go, this is amazing. I'll go meet you down there. And we got talking. He goes, yeah, I've never been in there. So we go to meet. I'm sitting with Michael, and I realize he's next year probably going to run for mayor.
Oh, really?
And we sit down, and I'm sitting with him, and there's Ben Walsh sitting next to me. I'm like, hey, Ben. Ben's been very supportive of us.
Yeah.
And the city's a super nice guy. And I'm like, Jesus.
Also
don't want
very
him to-
supportive of Vera House.
I don't want him to
Participated in our
think that
12-man
I'm
model.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
Yep.
nice. He's a super good guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't want him to think, here I'm over here with your competition having lunch. I felt like a jerk.
You know what
I love Salt City Market and Salt City Bar drinks.
The
Yes.
bar. I can't.
Tamika.
But you're not a like cocktail person, right?
No, I drink beer.
Yeah, you just drink beer.
Seltzer.
But they got
They have
they
good
have
beers.
they have
I'll have to check it out, that deal.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever been to the cider mill?
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, I have.
Love the cider mill.
Pre-COVID, yep.
Good every single time.
Yeah.
Amazing
Amazing
beer.
service.
Yes.
Like
Super great
atmosphere,
people.
Family. We're like family
Yeah.
run. Yeah, love it there. So good.
yeah.
But if you go to Cider Mill, prepare yourself. Before you go, do not eat too much of the regular food. Don't load up on the bread, because you
gotta
got to
have
get
it.
that damn cider donut at the
Yeah.
end with the ice cream on top.
dessert,
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Okay.
And you don't want to be too full.
No,
Right.
top 3 desserts in Syracuse
You have
right
to be
there.
very strategic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, can I throw in another one?
Yeah.
Fish fryer.
Oh yeah.
Fish fryer. I don't go there a lot.
I just went there
Good.
recently.
The mushy peas. The mushy peas.
The vibe there, I hadn't been there in a while, but the vibe is
about the
like
vibe.
really, I know, I am all about the vibe. I
Yeah.
hate that you just said that, but I am. Because it's so cool there. I just was like,
I've never been in there.
I
hate to
have
say
not
that.
been there since they did the
they
renovations.
they must have redone it, but
Yep.
I would like, I'm so old and I'm just corny and but I was like sitting there with Pat and I'm like, we're cool. Like
Oh
this
my
place
gosh.
is
It's
cool.
official.
Like we're
What's
cool.
so cool about it? I just figured it's a place to go get a get a
I,
fish
I have
sandwich.
not been since they redid
So
it.
the atmosphere,
it's
like
even
there,
cooler now,
yes.
apparently.
But
the food.
You can sit down and eat.
yes.
The
There's
food
a
is
bar.
excellent.
The
Do
food is
they
good.
serve alcohol?
and they're
Yeah,
doing more
yeah.
craft cocktails
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They had
I
a
gotta
pretty good
check that
beer
out.
list for
Yeah,
a while.
Food's
and-
Yeah.
so good.
But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the mushy peas.
What's a mushy pea?
It's just mushy peas, and it's
Just take peas and mush them?
I don't know what they do to them, but it's delicious.
Yeah.
Best seafood, I'll tell you, best fish sandwich, one of them. Have you Atlantic Seafood in Baldwinsville? Oh my God, they do an amazing job. That's probably the best fish sandwich I've ever had
Okay.
in Syracuse. But I think a
serve
fish fry to
fish.
go for fish, but
I serve fish
What
here.
about the brasserie?
I've never had the fish here.
Oh boy.
Wow.
But he did have the chicken reggies. Told me.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
they were amazing.
Yes,
That's their
raving.
By the
Dang.
best, the only reason they're really doing a lot of extra business is because her sister Hannah came back from college and is now waitressing here, and it's just driven the business up. She's amazing.
You got to chill out with that. It's going to go right to her head.
Gosh.
She is. She's a great server, though.
you want to ask your last question? You want me to ask a couple first?
Well, I have another.
Okay, another one? Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay, this is a little bit more of an opinion question, and it's probably like you're not going to be able to answer it. But do you see more people? I guess I feel like it's not like trendy. I hate to use that, but do you feel like more people are recognizing the need for safety, and kind of talking a little? Like, is it trending that like people are willing to make changes to promote
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think like the younger generations
Yeah.
and their awareness of the world and these things is a lot different from maybe when I was growing up. So I have
point,
a 16-year-old, and the conversations that he is having, that his friends are having, you have a teenager as well, Lauren. It's really, really shifting. So yeah, can you speak any more to that?
Yeah, and I think also just there's more conversations around, in our culture around like social justice and what does that mean, and how do we create safer, more supportive communities? And so I think this project, Raise the Bar, really aligns with that. Yeah.
I don't want to be like, well, things are getting better, so we don't have to stop working, because that's not the
No,
truth.
no,
But
not
just
at
if
There's a
people,
lot to do.
Yeah, but just that people are more receptive, I guess. And that's cool.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
It's
So
refreshing.
I asked some not so serious questions. One, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, well, this time of year,
What is it?
Christmas Vacation.
That's great. Great movie.
And
Good.
do you want to know my Halloween costume? It was a lifelong dream. Todd and Margot in the shiny sweats.
Oh my gosh!
That's
Wow.
Nailed it.
awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But you need a Todd with a Margot.
I got a Todd at home.
Okay, you made him dress up, or does
Make him.
he's into it?
Totally.
Have you
know.
seen that? What I can't tell the secret, can we? Of who the Grinch is?
Oh, you can. Yeah.
So have you seen the videos with Brasserie and Township 5 where there's somebody dressed up as a Grinch running around, putting his leg on the
No, I
table and
haven't
bouncing
seen it.
into
No.
places and whatever? It's Pat, her boyfriend Pat. Oh my gosh!
Is the Grinch?
Yeah.
It just makes it so much better for me. I've seen all the videos. So.
Yeah.
It's her boyfriend. It's not her fiance yet. You
Okay.
make that point clear.
Thank
Pat.
you.
Pat. We spent
Putting all your biz right out on
I
Front
know.
Street.
But our first episode that we did was like a year ago almost,
Yeah.
and we talked for probably 20 minutes about how I'm not engaged yet. So it's just.
and I'm like, oh my god! Afterwards, I
Just
go,
gonna
we
keep
might want to
circling
cut
back.
that. Pat's
Yeah.
gonna kill me.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Oh, favorite movie?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so favorite movie is Annie, the movie Annie. It's like really.
Musical Annie?
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
I watched
I've
it a
never
lot
heard
as a
anybody-
child. I could watch it a million times.
Annie.
Annie,
Oh my
a hard
gosh.
knock
and like,
life.
and like,
You
I
just
think-
gave me a vibe when you go, watch it a million times. Like, I
Yeah.
picture you in
Oh,
your room with
are
the
you-
wig on
No,
singing
let
it.
me tell you that
Are
my
you-
cousins and I put on a play with like the big VHS recorder.
Yes,
and
yes.
I was Annie, and unfortunately that footage has been destroyed because there was a fire at one point. I'm very
Oh my
sad.
gosh. Yes, yeah.
But I mean, and I think probably like watching it back now in like this day and age, I'm sure there's probably a lot of problematic things in
Yeah.
that movie. But I love musicals, and I
Nice.
watched a lot as a kid. So Annie all day.
Okay.
That's a good, she's never seen It's a
This is
Wonderful
why
Life.
I know every time we talk about this.
Never
every
seen the
time.
movie It's a Wonderful Life. That's
Well,
pretty weird.
because it's sad. I don't like to. I like.
But it's
to,
happy. You got to be sad to get happy.
Yeah, I guess. But I'd rather just watch like Christmas Vacation or
like Elf,
Yeah,
yeah.
where it's like
Elf,
you're just
Elf,
like.
yeah.
You can cry in Elf. Couldn't you? There's some cryy parts in Elf.
Not.
Okay.
I don't
I
know.
mean, the
Okay.
part where he like wants his dad to love him so much.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I could get a little moved.
I did get a little worked up at the Grinch. We watched the Grinch, Jim Carrey Grinch last night, and I was like, oh, when they were bullying him.
Didn't
and-
realize you were so soft. You come off so hard. And,
I know. Well, I had to explain to my 4-year-old about bullying, and he was like,
Oh,
"Why
wow,
are
yeah.
they laughing?" I'm like, "I don't know."
oh my God,
I
that's
was
funny.
like, it's just bullying. It's not nice.
One of my other questions is, ever have a nickname? Like when you were a kid, they picked on you, they gave you a really goofy nickname, and what was it?
I can't say.
Oh my gosh, you have to say now.
Say it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, my last name's Cunningham,
Oh, okay, so they probably,
so there's some plays on that.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
also my initials are Elsie, so then there was Elsie the Dairy Queen, but I don't really know
oh,
why.
okay, it's old milk commercials, yeah. People
Dating
are mean.
myself.
That's why you got to figure out with your kids' names. People are mean, man. Kids are mean. What about you?
So my full name is Catherine.
Oh, wait, the other one you'll appreciate.
Okay.
My friends called me Late Lauren.
Aw, we
Late
love
Lauren?
her. She's a little bit tardy to things.
Oh,
but
I'm
okay.
always
it's
late.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
I'm
late
always
Best
late.
of intentions.
Yes, it's totally fine.
So I'll use the Late Lauren. I'm not going to go anywhere near the first one.
yeah, she's like, I can't.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So my full name's Catherine. As a child, I was called Katie, and then I hit like middle school, junior high, and I was like, I'm Kate now. I'm dropping that I. So I go by Kate, but I still have friends, and my family calls me Katie. That's like a normal nickname, and I remember kids being mean, and my maiden name was Wallace. So they would call me Katie Waffles. Like, you can be mean over anything,
gosh,
like
yeah.
waffles. And of course, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, God.
But yeah.
The worst.
Oh my God, that's so weird because my son is 4 and he's in pre-K right now. And they are making up these words, and one of the words is smoochy that they say, and it's from the Minions. And so some of the class is calling, which my son is included, and so this makes me upset. But they're just calling each other smoochy, smoochy, smoochy. And so the teacher was like, some of the kids get really upset when they aren't called by their first name. So they're like actively trying to like be like using the correct name. Yes.
Oh, God.
And
It's amazing how names stick.
but and it's not even like Smoochie's. Like I guess it's from the Minions. I don't know. We don't
I've
watch
never
that.
watched the
Yeah,
Minions.
but it's like not a mean thing. But like you're saying, kid, like you just
Yeah,
get,
waffles.
Waffles.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I was just crying. It was
Yeah.
awful.
I
Yeah.
actually have a friend named Waffles.
But in like as an adult,
Yeah.
I'm like,
But nicknames stick. I told on the other one, I went to college. I went to Potsdam State, one of the many colleges I
my
went to.
mom went there.
To Potsdam State?
We have family from Potsdam.
And you had to go for orientation. It was one of the colleges you had to go before school started, and you go there for a couple of days, the weekend or whatever. And we went, and they put you in the dorm, so you get a little accustomed to dorm life before you go there. And there's a guy across the hall, and his name was Dean Paul. He was from. I would love to find out if he was ever could watch it. It would be impossible. His name was Dean Paul. He went to Morrisville, and he was a wrestler. His parents didn't have a lot of money, and we did our whole thing. We're like, hey, let's hit the bars. We're 18. So he goes in his room and he takes his front tooth out and puts it in the thing. I go, what is going on? He's like, well, my senior year of high school, and during wrestling, I got my tooth knocked out, and my parents didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have dental insurance, so they had to buy me the tooth that was really expensive. And they told me to promise me if I go out, don't let anything happen to the tooth. So he would take the tooth out. And then he'd drink and he'd go like that. He was sucking on the hole in his tooth, so we started calling him Suckhole. And for 4 years of college, from that first day we were out, everyone called Dean Paul
Ooh, that's
Suckhole because he sucked on the
unfortunate.
hole in his tooth. What a crazy way to get a nickname.
It's my
so,
buddy Suckhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll embrace the name back then. You know, get goofy names. So, do I have anything else? Movies, books, any big readers? Do you?
With a 14-year-old, like I went for like 12 years without reading a book. It felt like,
I
so I'm
know.
just starting to read again.
Yeah.
I'm reading 1,000 Splendid Suns right now, and it's
Lovely.
very troubling.
Thousand?
1,000 Splendid Suns. It's about two women in Afghanistan during like the leading
Oh,
up to
wow,
the
that's
Afghan
pretty-
war and the takeover of the Taliban, and it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping there's something positive at the end.
Books, good book.
I also love to read, and I also have young kids at home, so it makes it a little bit difficult. Right now, I am reading a book called White Women, and it's basically about how white women can recognize their role in white supremacy and anti-racism. So,
Wow,
Makes me think of-
powerful books.
That makes me think of Vanishing Half. It's fiction.
Okay.
Another good
Oh,
book.
I have that sitting on my shelf.
Read it.
But I have a young kid too, so
Yeah, so
reading
you're-
things.
So
is-
read it in 10 years.
Yeah,
I have
so
so
I
many
read-
books I want to read.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
She doesn't think I even know how to read.
I know he reads. He has all these. Every time he comes in, he has new books that he's
I
reading.
just read The
I'm
Gap
like,
and the
what?
Gain, which is a book Carlos Tierney. Do you know Carlos? He's
Oh, you read it?
I read it, yeah. It's really good. In fact, I started irritating the crap out of my friends talking about, are you in the gap, are you in the gain? And they talk about how, so say you're a person who, you graduate college, you want to get out, your goal is, by 30 years old, I want to make $100,000 a year. That's my goal. Great to set goals. So you're 29 and a half and you make $85,000 a year and you go, shit, I'm not going to make my goal.
Yeah.
Well, you're living in the gap. The gap is you're $15,000 short of your goal. The gain is you're making $85,000 a year.
Right.
So find a way to live in the gain. Think of
Okay.
yourself as living in the gain to inspire
Glass half
yourself to go
full.
forward. Glass half full
I
kind of
need
thing.
to read that, Bob.
Another thing they talk about is, say you get out in your car and you're driving it and something breaks in it. You go, piece of shit car. So they tell you when something like that happens and you go, oh, the damn snowblower, I hate that snowblower. Or, oh my God, I'm mad at my husband, I wish you, as soon as you say that, you don't have it anymore. So you go out, you get in your car, it has a flat tire, and you go, piece of crap car. Now you don't have a car. How's your life going to be without a car? You go home, the hunking piece of junk snowblower. Okay, now you don't have a snowblower.
Right.
So think about,
And you live in Buffalo.
and you live in Buffalo in a day, but you put yourself in the gain, get out of the
Oh, I
gap.
gotta read that.
Great book, Gap in the
sounds really
Gain.
good.
Shout out to Carlos. It was a great
Yeah.
suggestion. So
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
No, your last question.
Yeah,
Cool.
my last question. Yeah, my last question that I ask everybody is, if now that we've kind of got to know you a little bit, if people could take away one thing, you want them to take away one thing about you, what would it be?
About me. Oh, that's big. I mean, I guess for me, it's this piece about community care. So how I've committed my life to that and want to bring other people into that world.
Yeah.
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 That's cool. Community care. I like that. It's a term I'd never heard before till today. Community care.
You're doing it already.
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
it. But now you put the pressure on her. You already used her word.
No,
I could see what you're going to
it's
say.
okay.
Community care.
I've got something, bud.
Okay. Nice.
So I think, we're giving you all this information and these words and these terms and this program and all these things. But really what it is just people helping people, right? It's
Yeah.
just people looking out for other people and helping others in kindness. So really that's what it is and what it's about to me.
So you want to be known as a person that's. If I leave here and somebody says, "Hey, did you ever meet Katie before?" Waffles? I know her. Yeah. What do you want me to? What do you want them to say? Oh, I know her, and she's.
She makes a difference.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah,
like that.
That's
That's
awesome.
She makes a
awesome. That's
difference.
awesome.
Yeah,
Love
she's a
that.
change maker.
Yeah. Cool.
Changing the world.
Changing
One
the
bar at a
world.
time.
One bar.
One bar at a time.
I like
Love
that.
that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so bar owners can go to Vera House's website and find the Raise the Bar program.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
also Bud and I will get after some people so that
Can
we
we
can.
can we give out Kate's email?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's K Purcell. So my last name is Purcell, just like the paint store. KPURCELL at verahouse.org.
Okay. All right. So.
Awesome. Thank you guys
Yeah,
so much.
Thank
This was
you.
really
This was
interesting.
great.
so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Cool.